Previously on Labrador Leadership.
On a recent flight she had from Orange County to San Francisco with 166 seats, there were only 9 people in coach. They were spread out, rows between one another, mostly bottom window seats, some in masks and gloves. People don't want drinks because they don't want to have to go to the bathroom. They don't want snacks because they don't want to touch it. You could see the fear in their faces. The other day, I washed my hands 20 times on a 2-hour flight. My hands are raw. Typically, flight attendants use gloves only for cleanup, but I'm starting to use them to arm and disarm the doors and open and close overhead bins. I'm going to start bringing my own. The hospital supplies are so low.
Live from the RVA, this is the Labrador Leadership Podcast with Dr. Bob Nolly. The program that brings you the leadership skills that can make you the most authentic, approachable leader for the sake of your business, your team, and for you. Now, here's Bob.
Hey there, folks. How are you? Hope you're being safe. Hope you're taking care of yourself. Hope you're taking care of each other. Today is the day, was just reported by the folks at Johns Hopkins that are tracking this, that 10,000 people have died from corona in the United States. And that's a horrible toll. 350,000 people testing positive. And those are more cases than any other country in the world. It only trails Italy in fatalities, in Spain, number of people. Italy's population is only about 19% of ours, or 62 million. We have 332 million. On the home side, the worst hit state is still New York. They have 130,000 cases and over 4,700 fatalities. It's been reported in all 50 states and D.C. just 3 weeks ago. Authorities say still far from reaching its peak. World Health Organization Executive Director Michael Ryan said that if 80 to 90% of the people testing positive, you're probably missing a lot of cases. What he wants to see is getting 10 negative tests for every 1 positive. And that would be a better benchmark of where this thing is headed. So they're missing a lot of them now. Spain, Italy, and Germany are now reporting more than 100,000 cases each. Hopefully this will get better soon. Maybe we'll get better news tomorrow. Let's turn to the business side now in the leadership role. Communication. We've always said here that communication is near the top of the stack. Talking about leadership skills, we take it for granted. We say that. But it could look a little different during the corona crisis. Dr. Paul Argenti, who's a professor of communication at the Tuck School at Dartmouth College, writes in the Harvard Business Review, 5 things you need to take care of in communication. So see how many of these boxes you check. Create a team for centralized communication. This is the top of the house. It can be a small team in place. Think 5 to 7 people. It's got to be a senior leadership team member on there, HR person, somebody that's from communications, somebody that's an expert in the area of concern, and they should meet regularly, daily, and monitoring the situation closely as it evolves. They should be regularly updating the senior leadership team and probably be responsible for the organization communication as well. Which brings us to step 2, which is communicate with employees. Studies have shown that leaders in particular have a special role in reducing employee anxiety. Employees described it was important to hear the voice of the leader, live, through email, phone messages, social media. So to communicate with employees, organizations should post information in a highly visible location. It can be physical, it can be virtual, email, internet, Facebook, social, however you want to do it. Should include information about how decisions were made about travel, how decisions were made about working from home. And it should be done with a frequency, I'm thinking every day, certainly no less than every other day. Number 3, communicate regularly with your customers. Now, they take a different approach than you would take with your employees because you don't have the same access to them or you don't have the same frequency with them. But you do need to do this. Focus is what should be important to them. Like Target. Target sent out a note from the CEO to customers talking about their enhanced cleaning procedures and additional staffing they were doing for order pickup and drive-up services. Provide relief when you can. JetBlue was the first airline to start waiving charges and fees for virus-related concerns like flight changes and the like. And CVS is working to take care of refill limits on 30-day prescriptions, which can often be a pain. Number 4, stepping out another layer, is reassure all of your shareholders. The market volatility is quite a piece of evidence of the need of this. And it turned a bull market that had been having a great run into a probable recession. Earnings season just coming up. So be transparent in your communication with what your challenges are going to be in the short term. Talk about your long-term fundamentals through the lens of the crisis. Tell your shareholders what you're doing about the problems. And finally, be proactive with your communities. Well, it depends on how big you are. It depends on what the community around you looks like. You could provide resources like cleaning supplies. You could make sure you're providing information to local media to help calm the communities down. Transparency about what's happening in your company. Even if you're a big company, you've got an opportunity to perhaps use the funding arm, your philanthropic arm, to help. Five things to think about. Communication. Have a centralized structure. Remember your employees, your customers, your stakeholders, and your community overall. Thanks, folks. See you next time.